If you're a parent homeschooling at the moment, whether that's working with your school and doing online learning, or whether that is your own curriculum because you are in a completely homeschooling, then this video is for you. It's looking at how you can include music into your weekly timetable for your child. And I've made this video because I know that some parents really want to include music, but because they're not musicians and because they don't play instruments, they get really freaked out by the idea of including music and not sure how to go about it. So I'm going to share in this video a few simple activities that you can bring into your curriculum. I'm Rachel Hardman and I run Passionate About Music Education, and it's a service all about how music education works, how we inspire children within the classroom, how we inspire students on one-to-one lessons, and of course working with parents and other teachers looking at good practice and teacher stress management. So I'm going to dive straight in, and I hope you stay to the end for all of the advice. My first piece of advice is for the elementary primary age. So if your child fits into that age category, then this is a really great way you can include music without them having to play instruments or you being able to play instruments. We underestimate the value of nursery rhymes and action songs. A lot of people believe that students are learning these in school or at home, but it's quite surprising when they get to middle school how students have never heard what we class as the traditional nursery rhyme songs. So things like Wheels on the Bus and Old MacDonald Had a Farm are fantastic examples of great children's songs that have lots of actions. Children, particularly in primary and elementary age, really love these songs because there is that movement, and they love that repetition of the melodic line and the fact that they can add all the different verses and all the different animal sounds for Old MacDonald. On YouTube, you'll find lots of websites that have these songs pre-recorded that you can sing along with, or you can sing them yourself with your child. That movement, that action, that dance movement, the joy of music making is really important in that primary and elementary age. A different idea you could use that I see a lot of primary and elementary music teachers using within their curriculum is storytelling, and again using musical sound effects or encouraging the students to create their own sounds to go with it. So again, it can be done vocally, it can be done in form of a body percussion, or it could be done with instruments that you might have in the house, or you could get pots and pans and various other leaves for crinkling if you were trying to get that snow effect and stuff like that. So with Halloween and seasons and Christmas coming up, there's so many ways of storytelling that you can bring sound effects and vocalizing that. I know you as a parent will be worried about how to include music into your curriculum if you've had no formal music training, and that is perfectly normal. This is another tip that you can use that we use within our classrooms. This is encouraging students to listen to different genres and styles of music from your own country or traditional folk music, and music from around the world. YouTube has such a wealth of music now that wasn't accessible when I first started teaching 25 years ago, and we were using tapes and CDs. So now you can have an orchestra playing from Australia and you can see the instruments being played in the videos, and we underestimate how important showing that is to students because we presume that everybody's seeing cellos and double basses and harps all the time because children have so much more access to technology. But this is not the case. When I was teaching middle school students a few weeks ago, I was teaching them the Dorian scale, which is a very old scale, and it's often used in film music to create that sort of medieval or pirates castle sound effect. So for instance, Pirates of the Caribbean is all based around the Dorian scale. So I played the orchestral version so they could watch it and hear it, because where I currently teach in Bermuda, we have some amateur orchestras by the professional teachers on the island, but that is their only exposure to orchestral instruments. And with COVID and lockdown, of course, we're not seeing anybody play so much. So although we presume children know what a cello and double bass looks like, we actually aren't taking them out to see them in live concerts. So YouTube gives a fantastic opportunity for you to show live music. And don't be afraid to show music from different parts of the world. Today I was showing some students music from Java and Bali, traditional Indonesian gamelan music. They were like, wow, this music's really cool. I love the way they're sitting on the floor to play these traditional instruments. And then we could talk about how that relates to the traditional music of Bermuda, which is the gombe music and the gombe dancing. So those links are fantastic to bring into your curriculum. The other strategy that we often use as classroom teachers that you can bring into your homeschooling is using music to help with focused learning blocks. Colleagues in the languages of maths and English, science often have a task where students are focused for 15-20 minutes working silently and focused on their project, and they'll have music in the background. There was a big study many years ago about the influence of music by Mozart and how that is calming, but really what you're looking for is instrumental music that is of a generally slow tempo. It can be classical music, but it can also be meditation spa music. It could also be smooth jazz. Any of those will work beautifully because what's happening is the tempo of the music is actually slowing our heartbeat. In the same way, when you go to the gym and you're exercising, the music generally tends to be really fast tempo and quite energetic. And the same in the morning when you're driving your car into work, you'll find that the radio station is playing much more upbeat, cheerful music because they're trying to get your body energized. So that calm music while they're working on a maths project will give your child a focused time, but also help keep that calmness within that workspace. Another strategy we use in schools that you can easily bring into your homeschooling is cross-curricular work. And what I mean by this is usually it's a project, a title. So for instance, could be the seasons, and then we would look at doing this in maths and English and French and music. And in music, we would sing songs linked with the seasons. We might create our own music. We would maybe listen to Vivaldi Four Seasons and sing some other music that is of different seasons. And it's a really great way of reinforcing that learning. We call it cross-curricular, how we bring all the curriculum together on a project or a theme or a concept. This is really a great skill for you to use if you're homeschooling, particularly in sort of younger ages. But it does work with your middle school and high school students. So don't be afraid to use it with your oldest children, your teenagers. One way you can incorporate music into a cross-curricular project is to use it in a creative way so that your child creates songs or jingles to remember important facts, maybe a maths equation or a historical concept that they have to remember for a test. They could take an existing song and rewrite the lyrics to fit with whatever they're currently learning. We often find that students who have songs or melodic ideas will be able to recall that when they're in a test or when they're starting to feel panicked and that they don't remember the information, but they do because they can just sing that in their head. So that's a really great strategy and concept you can bring into your homeschooling. The final activity you could bring into your homeschool curriculum is composing, and that's making your own music, where your child creates their own music. Not only is it wonderful to experiment with technology and instruments, but it's also a great way of developing creativity, determination, and also understanding about trying ideas and them not working and then going back and reworking them, and sort of that kind of experimenting, failing, improving. And we know that that is a really important life skill. I'm sure you in your career have had to do a presentation and you've worked on it and you've presented it and it wasn't quite right, so you went back and worked on it again and you developed it and kept improving. And that's the same with using composing. We're asking students to try out the unknown, making up their own sounds, and as they do it more frequently, they become much better at it. On a lot of the Apple products, you'll find GarageBand, which is fantastic, particularly for sort of middle school and high school. There's sections of loops and little musical excerpts that they can move around and block into different ways and onto different instruments. For students who want to go that next step further, there are specialist software like Hook Theory, which is really great for composing pop music and chord sequences, and then specialist software like Sibelius, Finale, and Prologic. Composing is a really fantastic area to bring into your curriculum. Composing allows for creativity and musical expression that sometimes playing music from notation actually can restrict until they get to a really high standard, and then they can start bringing in all that musical expression. Being able to compose is such a wonderful gift, and it allows students to develop their own sound and their own ideas and experiment with voices on keyboards and all sorts of stuff. So if you have an opportunity to bring composing into your curriculum, that would be a really fantastic way to include music. So as I round up this video, here are a few things just to recap that you can include in your homeschooling program, even if you are not a music specialist or a music performer. You can include action songs, nursery rhymes, and storytelling, and including sound effects and vocalization, rhythm work. You can include listening to music and watching YouTube clips of music from around the world, and allowing your child to learn about music from different cultures. You can also use music as a tool for focused learning in their other subject areas when they're working on projects at home. And the final strategies were songwriting to help remember key facts, looking for cross-curricular opportunities to bring together themes in all the subject areas, and to allow your child to experiment with sound by being a composer and using music software or instruments that you might have in your house. I hope this has inspired you to include music into your curriculum, and over the next few months I'm going to be creating more videos to help parents understand the joys of music making and all the different parts that happen that you might not know, that as a teacher I do, that I want to kind of demystify music education and share that knowledge with you. So please follow the channel, please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on the comments. I do read them all, or to contact me directly, and I'll be more than happy to help. My name is Rachel Hardman, and this is Passionate About Music Education, and I hope you include music into your homeschooling program.